Hello everybody, welcome back to the PBN PRs, post-draft PRs as well. I've got my script here and I am ready, but firstly, there's a little disclaimer. These PRs are my opinion, so yeah, just don't get triggered or anything. Which, okay then, just don't get triggered and just DM me if you have other opinions or just put it in the comments. And please don't attack people for their opinion. Let's get started in 16th place. Okay, let's start. Like, every single team is good. So I'm not rating the team as if they're bad and some are good. Just some teams are stronger than others. All teams are pretty good. So let's start it off with 16th. The San Antonio Shrews and Stevo. Stevo team consists of Tapu Bulu, Feraligatr, Feraligatr, Swellow, Tyrantrum, Sneasel, Sandslash, Mega Beedrill, Buzzwole, Snorlax, Metagross, and normal Ninetales. I'm just gonna try to read my notes and just do it. So Bulu needs to have a Z move here. Metagross won't run a Z move most of the weeks, and Feraligatr just prefers having a Life Orb. Therefore, I'll definitely change that. So choose whichever one you want. Bulu needs to have a Z move. Another thing, you have no special attackers except for Swellow, and Swellow isn't that good. It can run specs most weeks, and yeah, I'm not counting normal Ninetales as a good special attacker. It's nowhere close to good. So yeah, Swellow being your only special attacker isn't very good. Also, Ninetales doesn't really help you. Drought isn't good. You don't have any Mon that likes Drought, and Drought actually hurts your team more than it helps your team. So therefore, I think let's keep going. So there's the Firewater Grass is weird. I don't know. I don't like it. A Tapu Bulu, Feraligatr, Ninetales. There are no walls. There's very little walls, and that's my next point. You have almost no walls, with the exceptions to possibly Bulu and Buzzwole, and Snorlax, of course. Snorlax and Sandslash, which are pretty much your only walls, cannot really cover all the team's weaknesses, which it has a lot, such as flying and ground. Flying spam hurts your team a lot. Flying and ground, so something like Lando destroys your team. Just completely destroys your team. Although Bulu does help with EQs, so Bulu is not that bad. Like, I don't mind having Bulu in your team. You have no hazards, very small hazard options with only Sandslash and Tyrantrum for rocks. I don't even know if Tyrantrum gets rocks. I think it does, but they're like Tyrantrum not gonna run rocks every week. Sandslash isn't a bad rocker, but only having one rocker in the entire team, and it's also your only decent remover, as Swell doesn't really want to run default, and nothing else on your team gets removed, bro. Which means that tier 5 in your team right now has to be a primary wall, a rapid spinner, a rocker. It's just doing too many things. Sandslash in your team it's a great pick. It does a lot of things for your team, but you need more support from it. They have no offensive versatility. In my opinion, Bulu always runs the same set, can be offensive or defensive, that's pretty much it. Feraligatr is always going to run Dragon Dance. Swell is pretty much the only Mon which I think you can really differentiate with being physical or special, but it's probably going to have to be special every week, because you don't want to get walled by physical walls. Tyrantrum is going to run Dragon Dance, Sneasel is going to be a Banded set, or a Life Orb, not much option. Sandslash is going to be defensive, Mega Beedrill is going to run the same set every week. Buzzwole can be special, defensive or not defensive, that's pretty much it. Snorlax is probably going to run Curse or Belly Drum. Metagross is probably going to run Agility and Z move. And Ninetales is not good. This isn't good. What, like, I'm gonna throughout this PRs I'm gonna talk about FAs I would recommend. So for FAs for this team, I would get rid of Buzzwole and Snorlax for Blaze Fallen and Golbat. That would mean that the drought from Ninetales actually helps something, in the Blaze Fallen, and it becomes super powerful. And I feel like you need more special attackers. So to place farm would actually be really good for your team. I do have a couple of positives for your team, although you are last, but don't worry. This is all based on the team. I don't know how well you play with the team. That will be for future PRs on how well your play is. As a positive, I feel like the team does work together. Like your mons can break down every team because of how much power they have in the physical side, but just not having any special attackers doesn't really help you. As we go on to the next team, 15th place, we got the Philadelphia Flygons and Ferret, which has the team Escadrille, Togekiss, Slowking, Flygon, Venusaur, Electabuzz, Megazord Y, Keldeo, Amoonguss, Fortress, and Gigalith. Double weather doesn't work. I'm telling you right now, double weather does not work. Especially because Megazord Y, it doesn't get the heat rock, meaning that Venusaur is never gonna have the sun, because it's not like you're gonna come in and set up, especially because it's 4 times its rock. Like you can just switch it in, bring up the sun, and then go to Venusaur. You have 4 turns or 3. I don't know the number exactly. I think it's 4. I think it's 4. So you get your 4 teams. You have 4 turns for Venusaur, which means set up 1 growth. That's 3 turns. And you take the hit, which at fire type can just pop it in the drought. And I do like that you have Excadrill and Gigalith. That works for your team, but definitely Venusaur is a really poor pick, especially as a Z-Mon. Why would you give Venusaur the Z move and not give it to Keldeo? Keldeo would really enjoy a Z move, especially to break down big water walls, which can pretty much wall your entire team. Like Electabuzz is not very good, and Megazord Y does get Solar Beam, but if they get if they chip down Megazord Y, you cannot break bulky waters that have recovery, which really hurts your team. I really enjoy your Fire Water Grass and your Fairy Dragon Steel Cores. I think they're really good. Amoonguss is really nice for your team. It's really good. Your wall, it helps with your walls, which are also really good. Amoonguss, Togekiss, Slowking, just really keep the team together, and that's the only thing saving you from not being last. So there are pretty much no common weaknesses, which is nice. Although ground spam can hurt your team after Togekiss goes. After Togekiss goes, ground spam hurts. Your spinners aren't too bad. Escadrille and Fortress, although Escadrille and Fortress don't really want to run spin every week. Like Fortress might, but it really wants Spikes, Rocks, Volt Switch, and maybe Gyro Ball. So I don't know. Like it has 5 moves, so pretty much just need to check. Oh, Toxic Spice. You might want Toxic Spice at least. So you got great hazard options. Fortress is very good for your team. It gives you a lot of great hazard options, and you have a way to support it. Megazord Y is good for your team. You have quite a bit of offensive versatility with Excadrill, with Togekiss possibly being offensive, Flygon, Venusaur. I don't like Venusaur. Megazord Y, Keldeo. You have a good team. It's just that it really Venusaur really hurts it, and I feel like that did put up your rating down. Like you have a good team, just not great. As a recommendation. For FAs, I would recommend get rid of Venusaur. Something like a Rotom. Rotom will really help your team. Like defogging, it will give you a decent defogger, and it will help you with your Voltron core. It will also give you a decent Ghost type, which really would help your team. Like a decent Ghost type, and like another Electric type. Because Electabuzz is good. I like Electabuzz, but if you want like 2 Electric types, that would be really nice for your team. Okay, next up in 14th place, the Greensboro Swarm and Cap. Cap's team is Necrozma, Raikou, Heracross, Umbreon, Kofagrigus, Masquerain, Mega Aggron, Tapu Fini, Goodra, Hitmontop, and Komala. Your team's a bit of a mess. I have to say, your team is a bit of a mess. No Grass type and no Fire type hurt you both defensively and offensively. You have many monsters with just 1 type, and some of them don't really help your team. Necrozma, in my opinion, brings nothing to your team except for some offensive pressure, and like for tier 1 you needed to do more. I get it sets of rocks, but you already have decent rock setters in Mega Aggron. Mega Aggron is one of the greatest rock setters, so I don't know if Necrozma is that good. Another thing, it doesn't need the Z move. Necrozma is not going to use the Z move. and Finney would appreciate it much more just to see Hayes. It would actually give him some good recovery. So your team does have good qualities. You have great and versatile walls, but like only having 2 wish passers, although Kamal doesn't really want to run wish every week, it means you cannot support him very well, especially because none of them get recovery. Finney doesn't get recovery, Megagon doesn't get recovery, Gudra doesn't get recovery, him on top doesn't get recovery, Coffee Grigas doesn't get recovery, and only having Umbreon as a true wisher is just too much support, and I feel like that hurts your team. You have a poor Voltron core, and you'll probably find it hard to keep momentum with only Raikou getting Volt Switch and Kamala getting U-turn. It's not very good. Your speed tiers are poor, only having 1 single Mon above 100, although you have Webs, which makes it a bit better. Like, you have very, very good hazard control. Finney's a great defogger, him on top, and Kamala are good spinners. And that really helps your team if you want to keep Webs up, which you can with Masquerain. And I feel like that helps a lot, because you got Masquerain with Webs and Megagon with Rocks, and I feel like you could keep them in the opponent's field. I like the synergy, but I feel like the synergy in your team isn't very good. I don't know, the mons don't work together. I feel like they're very singular, which is a bit of a problem. For FAs, I would recommend getting rid of Necrozma and Coffee Grigas, or something like Blazefall and Tangela, or something like Superior and Houndoom. You don't really need that Ghost type, it's not really helping you. And I feel like you need a Fire and a Grass type, just to help your Fire Dragons, your Fairy Water Silver. I would prefer Blazeball and Tangela, as it really do help your team, and you get back that Ghost type you lost. So in 13th place, the LA Infernapes and XDG. His team is Kyurem Black, Arcanine, Aerodactyl, Jolteon, Jellicent, Ferroseed, Mega Gardevoir, Scizor, Seismitoad, Steelix, and Chestnut. Your offense is amazing. That's pretty much all I've got to say. Your Fairy Dragon Silcore is one of the best in the entire league with Kyurem Black, Mega Gardevoir, and Scizor. They can be defensive, they can be offensive, they have physical offensive, specially offensive. It's really, really good. Even with this, you have major problems. One of which is 3 Steel types: Ferroseed, Scizor, and Steelix, which don't help each other at all. Ferroseed, especially Ferroseed, which is there for hazard stocking, which your team doesn't really need. Rocks are like you have Rocks with Seismitoad, you have Rocks with Steelix, you have Rocks with Aerodactyl, and then Chestnut gets Spikes. So I don't know why you have Ferroseed. It's like third typed, third fire, a third Steel type, a second Grass type. You really don't need this. You have 2 Water types as well, which you also don't need. Like Seismitoad, it doesn't help your team. Like it really doesn't help your team. And next, like just Seismitoad just gets Rocks, and you already have Rocks with Steelix and Aerodactyl, which are both decent rockers, so you don't really need it. And Arcanine doesn't really want a Z move, but it's fine. Like Aerodactyl will probably want it more over Arcanine. Arcanine's probably going to run defensive in this team more than it will run offensive, as you have many offensive mons, which I do enjoy. For weaknesses, there is a bit of a weakness against fire types that have any electric coverage or grass coverage. Like fire types destroy Kyurem Black, beat Aerodactyl if it has electric coverage. Jolteon doesn't take hits, Jellicent dies to electric coverage, Ferroseed dies to fire, Scizor dies to fire, Steelix dies to fire, Chestnut dies to fire, Seismitoad dies to grass coverage, and then Mega Gardevoir is there to support it with Arcanine. That's it. As you have 4 mons weak to fire and 2 4-type weaknesses, that's not good. You have great hazard options, and but I think the team doesn't really work together. I would definitely say for it to get rid of Ferroseed, and then choose either Steelix or Seismitoad to get rid of, or Jellicent. I would definitely say get Regirock over Ferroseed, and then get something else for the other one. So in 12th place, we have the Boston Red Bulbs and Gaxar. Gaxar's team is Salamence, Breloom, Darmanitan, Makalola, Meloetta, Regice, Mega Mawile, Rotom Wash, Powder, Dusclops, and Armaldo. Perfect Demons, and no repeated typings. That's some of the best things. Like, perfect Demons, no, nothing else wants it. Salamence and Meloetta, Rotom Wash doesn't really want a Z-move, Freepon doesn't want it, Dusclops and Armaldo don't really want it. Darmanitan doesn't use Z-move, Breloom prefers Toxic, Mucklola wants Solfest, and Regice doesn't really want to use it, meaning that Salamence and Meloetta are perfect Z-move users. One of the few teams that actually has perfect Z-move users, so I congratulate you. This is a team with Sands, but no Exploiters. You have a Powder, which doesn't help any mon on your team. Like Armaldo gets the water one, it gets Swift Swim, so it doesn't even help Armaldo. So I think the Powder is not really good for your team. And you also have no versatility offensively, only having one special attacker in Meloetta, and Meloetta isn't the best special attacker. Rotom Wash can be run offensively, but it probably won't. It needs to be defensive because your team lacks in walls as well. So Salamence could also be special, but that's a very situational thing. So that means Salamence is pretty much the only versatility you have. Breloom is always going to run the same set. Darmanitan is always going to run the same set. Muckalola is always going to run the same set. Meloetta can be the fighting type, which makes it a bit better. Regice is always going to run the same set. Rotom Wash can be defensive or offensive, but I think you're going to run defensive. Most weeks, the Powder runs the same set. Dusclops runs the same set. And Armaldo does a lot for your team. Armaldo is a very, very good mon for your team. Taking up rocks, rapid spinning. You have very good rockers in Repowder and Armaldo. So you know it's not too bad. So like your walls are good. I like your walls. You have Rotom Wash, Dusclops, Alolan Muck, and Breloom, which can all do their job. Breloom, although it doesn't have good defensive stats, the typing is quite good, only having one weakness to Flying. Flying, which is a bit of a problem for your team. Flying is a tad bit of a problem. You only have 1-2 resistances to Flying. I mean, Flying spam can really hurt your team. You have a really poor Voltorb core with only Rotom Wash getting Volt Switch and nothing else. Oh, except Darmanitan. Darmanitan gets U-turn. So it's still... Darmanitan doesn't really want to run U-turn most of the weeks. Rotom Wash might not want to run Volt Switch as well. But it usually does, it might not want to. So your Volturn is questionable. Water drinking break. Whoop. Okay, how long's it been? Oh dear, 17 minutes. Oh dear, it's slightly long. Yeah, poor hazard setting. Your opponent really is the only one that really wants to set up rocks. Armaldo doesn't really want to set up rocks every single week. Armaldo wants to spin, it wants to run some offensive moves because of its amazing coverage. It doesn't really want rocks. You might find it difficult to keep momentum, as you don't have that many Volt Switch mons, Volturn mons, so I guess that's gonna hurt your team. You have decent cost of control because your team's not really weak to hazards, and you have a very good defogger and a decent spinner. So, and you have a strong poison type to absorb those toxic spikes. Although Muck, I don't think your team really synergizes too well. Not having a Wish Passer can leave your walls unprotected to chip, so the opponent can just keep switching because I don't think any of your walls are recovery. Breloom gets toxic spikes, gets the toxic poison healing. Mucklola gets no recovery. Regice gets no recovery. Rotom Wash gets no recovery. Powder, I think a Powder does get recovery. Dusclops gets no recovery, and Armaldo gets no recovery. So basically, having no Wish Passer really hurt your team. I cannot recommend any UFAs, to be honest. I looked at the mons that are available, and none really help your team. You might want to get rid of maybe get rid of Hippowdon for maybe a Wish Passer, but I didn't find anything that maybe you could change to. In 11th place, we got the Ottawa, Garchomp, and Pesky. Pesky's team is Celesteela, Tangrowth, Lycanroc Dusk, Torkoal, Rhyperior, Avalugg, Mega Houndoom, Zeraora, Azumarill, Noivern, and Medicham. First thing I noticed, why does Azumarill not have a Z-move? Z-Belly Drum sweeps easily. Noivern doesn't really... Noivern wants to run specs more than it wants to run a Z-move. It doesn't have the stats to run a Z-move. Like, it has good speed, but it doesn't have enough special attack to be a sweeper. Therefore, it usually runs picks. So I feel like Azumarill needs a Z move. So I feel like that's something you need to change as soon as possible. Mayhound, Rapira, Lincoln, Rock, Noivern, Celestial, Metrum, and Azumarill all help each other out by baiting each other's walls. They can all be walls, and like they're all very good offensive mons. Like your team is very, very good. And from now on, all the teams are really, really, really good. Like they're not great. I won't say they're great. Only the top 5 in my opinion is great. But all these teams are really good. So I've got to say, like, I'm impressed. This team struggles with their hazards. You only have 2 spinners, which are both weak to rocks, which doesn't really help you. Torkoal and Avalugg. Torkoal doesn't really want to roll. Like Torkoal will run spin, and so will Avalugg. But like they're very poor types. Like I like that you have a fire team, that you have a sun team. It's nice. You have a little bit of a sun core with Torkoal, Tangrowth, and Mega Houndoom, which is nice. But like you have a lot of mono take 25% from rocks, and Torkoal has no recovery, meaning you cannot rabbit spin all the time. Like Torkoal takes 25%, Avalugg takes 25%, Mega Houndoom takes 25%, Noivern takes 25%, and you have no poison type, meaning that tough spikes are really good against your team. You'll most likely keep rocks on your opponent's field because you have decent rockers. Rapira being a consistently great rocker, and Lycanroc Dust can surprise people with rocks. Rapira just threatens out so many mons to its amazing attack. Rapira is a really good mon. The synergy of the team is good. It's good. It's not the greatest, but the sun does help your team massively. Maybe getting something like Venusaur from Ferret. Ferret, please trade Venusaur with Pesky. Pesky really needs it. It will really help his team. And getting rid of something, I don't know, getting rid of maybe Tangrowth. Tangrowth doesn't really like. For FAs, there's nothing really I want to recommend. Maybe get rid of Lycanroc. It doesn't really help your team. You already have a rock type. Maybe get something like Toxicroak to absorb toxic spikes and to like being a decent mon. Like I don't really know. There's not much thing that could change. So in 10th place we have the SL Blazikens and their trainer Afonso, who is me. I don't really know how to judge myself, but I'm going to try to be honest. So the team is Zygarde 50, AZ Floette, Galvantula, Mantine, Hitmonchan, Aggron, Mega Absol, Victini, Gengar, Shaymin, and Vivillon. The Z-Mons are okay. Victini may be one in the Z more than Gengar, but that depends on opinion. There are a little repeats in typing, and the repeated bug type only really hurts because rocks become more of a problem. And you have 4 mons weak to rocks. Galvantula, Mantine, Victini, and Vivillon. One being 50% damage. And when having 1 spinner and 1 defogger really hurt your team. Mantine doesn't really want to defog every week. Hitmonchan would spin every week pretty much, but you cannot bring in every week. Which is a bit of a problem. So defog hazards could be a problem against your team. Secondary spinner would also help your team as defogging gets rid of your own hazards. And that wouldn't be good as webs help your speedsters, which aren't great. Like without webs, your speedsters aren't very good. Your team kind of has problems against Ice Rock and Ground types, especially mons who can get a move of all of those types. So something like Nidoking and Nidoqueen really interest your team. Volturn isn't the best with only Galvantula as a Volt Switcher and Victini as a U-turner. So they're like keeping momentum is going to be hard with this team. And like you cannot really just switch all the time because you're very weak to hazards. So for FAs, I would recommend getting rid of Vivillon for something like a Psychic type, a bulky Psychic type. You do have points, so you can get a tier 4 bulky Psychic type, which will really like mold your team together. Maybe a spinner, a Psychic spinner. So in 9th place, we've gotten that Los Angeles Righteous. I'm sorry, the logo kinda got ruined there. And Kyle. Kyle's team is Tyranitar, Gliscor, Roserade, Silvally, Magneton, Driplim, Mega Blastoise, Volcarona, Alakazam, Alolan Ninetales, and Sock. Another team with Sand, but no Exploiter. It doesn't hurt you specifically that your offense is just great. It's great with Veal, makes mons such as Volcarona, Tyranitar, Gliscor, and Alakazam better offensively. Like, Veal in your team really good. Yeah, I'm not saying your team's bad, like, all of these teams are good. Like, Kyle's team is one of, like, it's not one of the best, it's 9th place. It's not because your team is bad. Like I would see your team being the best team in many other leagues. Just that everybody's team is so good. Like all these teams are really well built. So this field offense is one of the greatest I've seen. Volcarona set up Quiver Dances in center field. Tyranitar sets up Dragon Dances. Glasgow sets up Swords Dance. Alakazam sets up Calm Minds. They have more to set up. Make your team insanely strong. Yeah, your team is like when the downside of your team is extremely weak to rocks. So there's a Volcarona alone 9 shells that take a quarter and they take half and a quarter% respectively. You actually have, in my opinion, the best spinner in the entire game. Just make Blastoise and decent defogger in Silvally. Silvally is a not bad defogger, but that would also get rid of your own hazards, which you don't really have. You have Rocks from Tyranitar and Toxic Spice from Roserade, which doesn't really that bad. Also, you don't really have Dragon type. Silvally could be a dragon, but it's probably not going to be a dragon. But it doesn't hurt your team, which is great. Just because how Silvally is so good to your team. It molds your team together, it gives you a type, and if you need a type, which you probably will eventually, if you need a type to attack something, you have that type. And that's great. Silvally is great for your team. There are no FAs to this that I recommend. It's an effective team, it's a really good team. It just has its problems. Therefore it's not great. In 8th place, running up the top 8. The top 8, so these are the teams that I if it was based on a team, these are the teams that will make playoffs. We got Shaq and the Slush Rush something. S's or something. I don't remember. The Seattle Slush Rushes or something. I think like that. So his team is Jirachi, Como, Vaporeon, Rotom Heat, Ditto, Floatzel, Mega Diancie, Scolipede, Honchkrow, Mamoswine, and Trevenant. You saw my Vaporeon, I don't like it. This team's insanely good. It's really good. And starting off the top 8, having teams that are really insanely good like this, it just shows the top quality this league actually has. Before the double water types, they don't really help each other. Vaporeon and Floatzel, they don't have synergy, but even then it doesn't ruin the team. It has insane walls. Vaporeon, Jirachi, Rotom Heat, Trevenant can be a wall, Como can be a wall. Pretty much everything on your team. You have great offensive awareness and you have a great offensive opportunity. Drink break. Halfway through, half an hour in. This might be an hour long. You have a large amount of offensive pressure on the other teams, mainly due to Mamoswine, Jirachi, Rotom Heat, Honchkrow, Scolipede, Floatzel, Mega Diancie. It makes it seem pretty much impossible to prep for offensively. Although you don't have many defensive mods which you can really rely on. Meaning that if you go up against hyper offense that counters your team and has better prep than you, you'll probably lose that match. But if you go against Stall, you have amazing wall breakers. If you go against Semi-Stall, you have amazing wall breakers again. So I think your team does work against opponents. It does struggle against Steel types. I feel like Steel types, some of Mega Aggron, really hurt your team if Mamoswine and Como or if Rotom Heat's defensive, it might be defensive that week, and Mamoswine's gone, it's dead. I don't think you're gonna have really big problems defending against really bulky Steel types, especially if you have Wish Passers that can help it out. Your speed tiers aren't great. Only Scolipede and Mega Diancie really have good speed tiers. They have 100. Your speed tiers are nothing special. I don't really like that. The Volton core is poor, with only Rotom Wash and Honchkrow having Volt turn moves, and Honchkrow doesn't really want to run U-turn every week. It has too much coverage to run U-turn. The Z users are fine. Jirachi doesn't really wanna. Rotom, Scolipede and Como are pretty much the best ones. Mamoswine might want it as well, but I feel like those do help out a lot. Your team doesn't have rocks at the opponent's field, and so decent default. Your team just doesn't have any set. Jirachi is the only rocker, and Mamoswine, but they're not really good rockers. So that's Diancie, but they're not really good rockers. Except for Mamoswine. Mamoswine might want to. So defog in your team is really good. Rotom Heat is one of the best defoggers in the entire game. But that doesn't help out. Only having one really good defogger. I mean, Honchkrow doesn't really want to defog every week. The synergy between your mods is really good, and it's an insane team. So I have nothing to recommend as an FA. Just a good team. It's a good team, but it has its problems. In 7th place, we have the Toronto Staraptors and Starmon, with Zapdos, Torrent Greninja, Zygarde 10%, Crobat, Weezing, Crustle, Mega Gallade, Stakataka, Alolan Marowak, Serena, and Slurpuff. There's a very big lack of special attack in this team, with only like maybe special attacking Crobat and Slurpuff if it wants to be special attacking, really being special attacking, and Greninja. Torrent Greninja doesn't really want to be offensive, it wants to be spike support. So I feel like that's why your hazards are really good. You have great hazard options with Greninja and Stakataka and Alolan Marowak and Crustle, they're all good rockers and spikers. Like Zapdos has to be offensive most weeks. Like you have decent walls in Weezing, Alolan Marowak and Stakataka and Serena and Slurpuff, so Zapdos would probably need to be offensive just to have some especially defensive pressure. The team really does need. The Z moves are perfect. There's really nothing else that wants it. Zygarde and Stakataka are good Z users. Zapdos doesn't really want it. Greninja might want it, but I feel like those are the perfect two ones. You have weakness against fast ice types and like a Weavile or Mamoswine. Mamoswine really fast, maybe a Scarf Mamoswine really hurts your team. Like Mamoswine by itself, it hurts your team tremendously. It's like it kills Zapdos, it kills like Greninja's not bulky, Zygarde 10 drops, Crobat drops, Weezing and Crustle might take hits, Mega Gallade, Revenge goes, Stakataka drops, Alolan Marowak drops, Serena dies. Yes?
Don't you need to work?
I will. Thought about that. Where was I? The Zemon's are perfect. The walls are pretty much insane. You have really good walls. And that's pretty much it. The speed tiers are really balanced, and it's the best PD team. I think this is the best team when it comes to speed tiers. Yeah. Greninja, Zapdos in a good speed tier, Mega Gallade, Crobat, Zygarde 10. Just very good speed tiers. You have two decent C spikers, two decent rockers, a decent spiker, so hazards are very good for your team. Synergy in your team's okay, it's not great, and that hurts its placement, but it can destroy many other teams. Like, there could be some changes, and the FAs I would recommend maybe getting rid of Stakataka, but it does help your team out. You may be getting rid of it for maybe better seals out. Okay, 6th place, we have the Dallas Darkrai, and Woof, that has Clefable, Slowbro, Incineroar, Haxorus, Hitmonlee, Golurk, Mega Venusaur, Blissey, Klefki, Dodrio, and Vikavolt. Sorry about that. This is the most offensive team on the league, and that's it. It has great walls. Clefable, Slowbro, Incineroar, Golurk, Mega Venusaur, Blissey, Klefki, all great walls. They all support each other with Wish Passing, and that means that even the mons without recovery, such as Incineroar and Golurk, and Klefki, still get wishes from Blissey and Clefable. And Mega Venusaur has its own recovery, and so does Slowbro. So they all work well together to break down teams. You have, like, you don't have a decent spinner, which hurts a team as you are kind of weak to rocks. But you have Klefki, which is a hazard on the opponent's field, easily just prankster. You have Golurk, which isn't a bad rocker. You have Clefable, which is a good rocker. Blissey is also a good rocker, meaning your team hazards are very good. You have no spin blocker. I mean that opposing teams can spin block, which can and probably will hurt your team heavily. Him only being the only remover, it really doesn't want to run removal every single week. I think Vikavolt might get default, although it doesn't really run it, because it gets rid of your own hazards. But like, you're weak to Toxic Spikes. Like, if Mega Venusaur drops, they can set up Toxic Spikes, or if you see that Mega Venusaur doesn't come, if it's a mad matchup, Toxic Spikes can hurt your team heavily. Speed tiers aren't great, but that really doesn't matter when it comes to stall teams. So you do, like, for stall team, all stall teams need very powerful wall breakers, and you have them. The Drill, Vikavolt after Agility, Hitmonlee, Haxorus, all set up, most set up, Hazard's a great setup sweeper. And wall breakers, they're very good wall breakers. And you know, they help your team in breaking down the team. And Vikavolt can sweep after a chip from the other three. The synergy between the team is great, like it's very good. It's a very good synergy, and they all know work together. So I've got to congratulate you. And from the top 5, these are all, in my opinion, great teams. All 5 of these, like, they're very close together in the point system, and they could have been first. All of 5 of these teams could have been first. So first in 5th place we got the Corsellia Hollywood, the California Corselias, and Jamal. Which team is Tapu Koko, Nihilego, Registeel, Blastoise, Gligar, Audino, Mega Medicham, Hydreigon, Whimsicott, Weavile, and Magmortar. Nihilego's not going to never have a Z-move. First choice items, or even a leftover if wants to be a wall. Therefore, monsters Hydreigon and Weavile, which really want a Z-move. Really want it. Like, Coco's a good Z-mover, Z-user, but Nihilego definitely should not be a Z-user, and that's why your team is 5th. It could be first. If it wasn't for Nihilego being a Z-user, if it was a Weavile, it would have got more points. I feel like it would have been top 3. So, you know, your team is great. The Fire, Water, Grass being all special attackers doesn't really help your team. Like, you have a lack of physical attackers. Mega Medicham and Weavile, of course, and then Tapu can be physical attacking. But, like, it's slightly not enough. You have a lot of special attackers. You have Magmortar, Whimsicott, Hydreigon, Blastoise, and Nihilego. So I feel like maybe getting another physical attacker would help. You have great defensive Pokemon, which really help out your offensive core in Registeel, Gligar, and the Reach Regen from Audino really helps against Registeel. Like, because Registeel can be setup fodder, like it can be setup fodder, and therefore having other walls which are setup fodder. Like, you cannot set up on a Gligar. Gligar has a lot of coverage, it'll probably run a move for you. You cannot set up on a Whimsicott, it can Inkle you. So I feel like Registeel might be a bit bad. But you can have problems with walls. Like, Registeel is the only thing that can, like, be set up fodder for something like Salazzle and Volcarona, if they are played correctly. If they're not played very well, then I don't think there's any problem with them. Team works well together and has a large amount of options when it comes to hazard attacking, rocks and toxic spikes. Getting rid of hazards is a bit of a problem though, but having a good spinner and a good defogger makes it not impossible. Like Gligar and Blastoise, they do help in that. The synergy is good, and it's a great team. In phase, maybe I'll change Nihilego and Mega Medicham, get something like Mega Alakazam and Halucha, which would make this team just impossible to prep for. It would definitely be the best team in the league if you got Halucha, because Coco Lucha is just too good. Like, Mega Alakazam would also help you out, because you'd switch out special attackers, so you get the same amount of special attackers and physical attackers. I feel like it'll make your team just better. So, in 4th place, we have the Arkansas Razorbats and Andrew, with Mew, Milotic, Donphan, Cobalion, Rotom-Mow, Gorbis, Megazord X, Florges, Ambipom, Arceus, and Thunderous. It's another semi-saw team. Water Break. And it has great walls. That's it. And Mew, Milotic, Donphan, Cobalion, Rotom-Mow, and Florges all support each other, and has very good attacking options with Thunderous and Megazord X, and Archeops and Rotom-Mow if he wants to be offensive, Ambipom, which all help each other out. Although maybe we might want to change Z Archeops to G Thunderous. Thunderous does prefer the same move, especially with that 145 special attack. So I can just pop something, anything. Like a Z Thunder from a Thunderous T kills everything that is in the ground type. Like, it's a good team that has little weaknesses, and it'll be one of the hardest to break. There isn't much to say about it, it's a very good team. There are no FAs that I would recommend for all these teams. So to get into the top 3, these are great teams. There are no FAs that I would recommend in these teams. And they all have minor faults, but they all have great positives. First off, in 3rd place, we have the the Porygon Zs, with his Cav, which team has Heatran, Sylveon, Crocodile, Decidueye, Alomomola, Aurorus, Megaladios, Staraptor, Garbodor, Conkeldurr, and Xurkitree. It's an amazing team. Megaladios can break a large amount of the metagame, especially in League format, as Knockoff becomes weaker. and due to its large 130 attack and 160 special attack, can work on both sides due to its amazing coverage, so that really helps your team offensively. A great Fire Water Grass core, helping which Heatran helps along molds in the CGY's weaknesses, and a great Fairy Dragon Steel, which is balanced perfectly between physical attacking, special attacking, and walling. This team has zero bad side. It's great at everything except for its poor Voltorn. Voltorn is literally the only thing that it has bad, but it doesn't really matter. Like, it has a great offensive pressure, meaning you're still gonna get momentum. Hazards aren't a problem, having two great Defoggers and Garbodor setting Spike and Toxic Spikes, and Heatran with rocks. This helps your team force switches and cause havoc. Like, your team force switches a lot, and with the large amount of hazards that you have, it works. Z-Mons are good. Maybe Saratra might want a Z-move more than Heatran, but Heatran can run Grass Z, so it works. In second place, there isn't much I can say about this team. They're very good, and that's like I can say that. So in second place, we have the Minnesota Hyperfangs and Thunder with Landorus, Syrian, Cresselia, Kyurem, Gastrodon, Gourgeist, Girder, Mega Scizor, Infernape, Thunderous Eye, Diancie, and Electrode. Just wow, this team is amazing. A great Fairy Dragon Steel, as Kyurem can be bulky or offensive, Mega Scizor which can be bulky and offensive, and Diancie which is just great. It covers a fire weakness and has great defenses. The Fire Water Grass is also great, with Gastrodon having only one weakness to grass, and that's covered by both Infernape, which can set up rocks, or which can be special off of physical, and Gourgeist, which is an amazing low tier wall. Many people underestimate. Like Gourgeist Super is so bulky. And the shots with Landorus Therian, which can be offensive, defensive, support, and much more. Cresselia, which can set up Coal Mines and Sweep, and Thunderous Therian. It's Thunderous Eye. Thunderous Incarnate, which can double dance or wear a scarf and become one of the most dangerous mons to its monstrous special attack. The speed stars are fantastic, and the synergy between the mons is stupidly powerful. Wonderful team, but it's slightly like this would be the best team in many leagues, but this next team is insane. And first place, we all know who it is, the Montreal Mudkip. Sorry for the bad quality of the picture. It was a small picture, so it pixelated quite a bit. This team. So firstly, Kartana, Suicune, Chandelier, Uxie, Aromatisse, Rotom Frost, Protein Greninja, Garchomp, Hariyama, Rhydon, and Tornadus Incarnate. This team's the best. Sheer amount of offensive pressure that Kartana and Garchomp give by themselves. Kartana and Garchomp by themselves give so much offensive pressure. It's insane, but if you add to that a Scarf Chandelure, a Tornadus Incarnate, and this Protein Greninja, which if it runs Life Orb, it breaks everything, you pretty much have yourself a decent OU team. You just have a decent OU team. Like, you can literally run Kartana, Suicune, Chandelier, Greninja, Garchomp, and Uxie or Tornadus Incarnate, and you can go into OU and win. So I feel like that's very hard to do in late. It has one of the best walls in the entire roster with Suicune, Rhydon, Aromatisse, Uxie, and Hariyama, and Frost. You have a great Wish Passer, a great Fairy Tap, which support your entire theme. And they can switch between themselves. Like, Rhydon can switch into the Suicune, or it can switch into the Rotom Frost, and it can switch into the Hariyama. Like, everything has switches. Like, the Fire Water Grass is insanely strong with Greninja / Suicune, Kartana, and Chandelure making great offensive and defensive cores. Double R time doesn't really matter because Greninja changes its type, it's Protein, which is insane. The mild problem this team has is hazards, only having 2 mediocre defoggers and no spinners. But this team also has 2 reliable rockers in Garchomp and Rhydon, which makes these mons, like, Rhydon doesn't have to run rocks every week as Garchomp can run it, and Garchomp doesn't have to run rocks every week. And since they're both as good at putting rocks up, that's very good for your team. The Z users are good. Chandelure might enjoy the Z move more than Tornadus Incarnate, so that might be something you want to change. But it mostly runs choice sounds anyway. So I feel like they were the best choices. There's nothing else to say about the team, it's super strong. And I have to face it week 1. So, oh dear, am I gonna get ruined. That's it. Like, subscribe, and comment down below who do you think has the best team overall. I believe Kip does, but oh well. I feel like other people could think differently. So thank you for watching. 45 minutes. This is long.